An excerpt.
Yo, Sharonda, girl, you be pregnant again? If I is, Ray Ray's gonna be a real father this time around. Thank you.
Once upon a time in PHC, a married couple gave birth to the cutest kid. Destined to preach the hand of God was upon him. But the road ahead of him wasn't easy until he found Christ, whose yoke is easy. Now everything is easy peasy weezy for cheesy. Really easy picking cheese mixed with joyful living. When you give your life to Christ, life is sweet and creamy. Yum yum, tastes like heaven on a bed of roses. Come, I see some say that's not the way it is. But you don't know the power Jesus gives. You carry your cross after the cross with power he gives thee. Power that exceeds the wildest dreams and fantasies of Samson. Yep, the power of the Spirit. Problem is you don't know the power given to thee or how to use it, so I'm here to teach thee.
How did you come to write this book?
What really struck me was that too few books were about my people. Where are our stories? Where's our representation?
Would you give us the pleasure of reading?
So this is all about wokeness and BLM foolishness. You know, that stupid question of where's our stories, where's our representation. Start your own company and produce your own stuff. Stop bullying corporate America to take on the stuff. And of course, they're only telling African American stories from a woke perspective, from a Democrat-leaning perspective, from a leftist perspective. African American stories from a Candace Owens perspective is banned. That is self-hate. African American stories from a Ben Carson perspective is banned. African American story from a Thomas. So any African American that doesn't hate or blame or put the responsibility of the African Americans' level of success or degree of success, anybody that doesn't put it on white people is self-hate or racist. You know, so you have to demonize white people and you have to push LGBT and all kinds of nonsense that go with this cluster of wokeness. So basically that is what this is. You know, so it's already terrible. You know, it's already terrible the way it's going, you know. And this is the kind of thing, it's only going to bring out more division. It's sad that people don't see, especially African Americans, a lot of them, this clearly is sad. They didn't listen to Martin Luther King and they didn't observe why he made the kind of progress that he made. You know, there is somebody that advocated for not seeing color. This is for somebody that advocated for growing in a country where nobody is judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. It's all about the person. We are all humans. We are all people. But this modern BLM, critical race theory, this modern pro-black woke approach to race movement, all it does is emphasize differences between the race and amplifies it. So it creates more racial tension, more racial disparities, more division, and hence more war down the road.
An excerpt.
Yo, Sharonda, girl, you be pregnant again? If I is, Ray Ray's gonna be a real father this time around. Thank you.
Now you see that foolishness, you know, they're just plain crazy. And this is, you know, it's so sad. What language is that? You know, this encouraging of illiteracy and giving people degrees when they are illiterate. This is what they push for dark-skinned people. That is the funny thing about this modern wokeness and this, especially the white people that support dark-skinned people going in this direction. For example, in Nigeria, you have broken English. A lot of people don't do their research on what broken English is. Broken English originated from Africans who could not speak English properly. Then they make an official language and make it Africa, make it this is for you. Why is there not a broken Spanish? When somebody or a broken French, when somebody makes mistakes in other languages, it's called that person is learning, that person has not yet learned to speak that language. There's no such thing as broken Chinese. Why is there broken English? Why is there pidgin English? Now we see this use of ebonics and this, they call it talking black. It's talking ignorance. People don't understand and they don't do the research from where this talking, this mode of talking comes from. It comes from illiteracy. Slaves who were not allowed to learn how to read or write. This is their language. This is the language of illiterates who were forbidden. Now it has been made, you have been given the right. It's funny how wokeness brings dark-skinned people back to the same things that happened in years and centuries ago, racist America, but under a different name. It brings back segregation under the guise of, oh, this is black only spaces. Oh, this is a safe space for black people. Oh, this is a safe space for African Americans. Oh, black owned businesses. That means that all the businesses that are not black owned or does not have the black owned label are whites only. But the label of whites only is not there. Even though they may for now allow other races, but you see, that segregation is creeping back in. It is still the same thing. It is still the same dividing, but it's under a different guise. Now we see the promotion of African Americans today talking and speaking in the same way that their slave ancestors did when they were not allowed to learn how to read or write. That form of English, that kind of ebonics, that urban way of talking. And now you're writing a book about this, and we see the same thing with the stupidity of there are certain states that are now fighting against, in America, they are fighting against standardized tests and saying, oh, it is racist. Oh, when African Americans perform poorly on a test, all of a sudden the test is racist. So take away the tests. Oh, it is college that is discriminating. Oh, African Americans disproportionately fail these tests, fail the SAT or fail this other test or that other test. So take away the test. So African Americans will get into university. It only decreases the value of education and how intelligent people are that graduate. We now have fools and idiots graduating. This is a book. This is somebody promoting a book, and look at how they are talking. Speaking the language of a slave that was not allowed to learn to read or write. And the irony of it all. People don't see it. And you saw the white lady that stood up and was clapping when she heard that foolishness. These are that the problem of this new leftist liberal whites. They are super racist. And I have a problem with white Christians who are on the left. Because first of all, for you to be on the left, and you're white, you have to look down on African Americans as people who cannot do it by themselves. They need government help, they need government assistance. And that is also another way to creep in socialism, which is also going to happen with all the illegal immigrants that have now landed in America. And, there was a video passing around where, the illegal immigrants were calling America their home and were telling, the news reporter that came there to interview them that he should go home, that they are home. This is something, you have to know. It's just like when Nigerians go to UK becomes their home. It is now their land. It's like an Abraham situation where, God told Abraham, anyway, as far as your eye can see, it's your property. Nigerians or many people from so-called third world countries, when they land anywhere their feet touch, any country their feet touch, is now their home. It is now their home. And there's nothing you can do about it. So all the nonsense, as a matter of fact, at this point, I don't want Trump to win. I don't want Trump to run and win. I want this direction that that Biden has taken America to. Let America keep going. That is what I want. Enjoy the results of all that you are doing. The time for fighting for common sense and fighting for Trump, that time let it pass. Maybe people's eyes will open when they begin to see the reality of what you were doing when you were fighting against Trump and conservatives and the so-called MAGA movement.
Ray Ray is gonna be a real father this time around.
See the white man standing on the foolishness.
Monk, your books are good, but they're not popular. Editors, they want a black book.
They have a black book. I'm black, and it's my book.
You know what I mean.
Look at what they published. Look at what they expect us to write. I just want to rub their noses in it.
I be standing outside in the night.
Deadbeat dads, rappers, crack. You said you wanted black stuff. That's
At least they have one person, who is giving he's going against that perspective and pushing it. I thought the whole movie was going to be promoting that foolishness. So thankfully, that is not the direction. That may not seem, at least perhaps on some level, they may want to push that. But I'm happy at least they have this character. It seems like they are going to make fun of that, because you can't keep pushing everything negative, everything ignorant, and be pushing it as this is what it means to be an African American. Oh, this is what it means to be African. You have to push up the intelligence and the smartness. You can't promote anytime you want to see anytime. And this is something that, say what you want about Bill Cosby. Before Bill Cosby, African Americans were portrayed as idiots and dummies on TV. When you watch like old Charlie Chan movies, watch movies from the 30s and the 20s, anytime you see an African American on screen, it's just terrible. Going to be a caricature of, any negative stereotype of that era that you could think of. But Bill Cosby came and showed an educated African American, and that was good and new. The image of yourself or your race or group that you put out there means a lot, and it's how you'll be perceived. It's, for example, when you look at white people, especially in the 50s, there was that era of etiquette and chivalry where women were represented, the white woman was represented as cultured, well-clothed, well-dressed, well-spoken. African Americans have never had that of African American women represented or shown that way on TV, in entertainment. Now, how do they represent the African American woman? As a slut, as a stripper, as a hoe. That is how all hip hop pushes them out as, and all the female rappers are all ex-strippers, and some of them still have OnlyFans accounts. So they are basically active online prostitutes. And this is the image of the African American that they push out there. These are the people that they want to push out as leaders. And these are the people that Joe Biden will hold conference with. When Joe Biden wanted to address the African American communities, and to talk to African American women, who did he pick? Cardi B. Of all people, why pick Cardi B? But this is how they want African Americans to be perceived, as thugs. Look at 50 Cent and his shows, all thug nonsense. And it's unfortunate that is all they push. Even when African Americans, start their own companies, they push the stereotypical image of the women are sluts and the men are thugs. That nonsense has to change, and there is this push for uneducated illiterates, projecting, all over the place. It needs to stop.
black, right?
I see what you're doing. We sold your book.
No.
We believe Mr. Lee has written a bestseller.
It's a joke.
The most lucrative joke you've ever told.
Now, is Stagg a pseudonym?
Yeah.
Mr. Lee can't use his real name.
Is this based on your actual life?
Yeah, you think some bitch-ass college boy can come up with that shit?
No, I don't.
Can I ask what you were in for? Was it murder?
You said that, not me.
They ran 300,000 copies.
Your books change people's lives.
They're offering $4 million for the movie rights.
Yes! The dumber I behave, the richer I get. This has gone too far.
Stag Arley is still on the run from authorities.
You haven't done anything. It's not like they can arrest you.
Wish I could go back to not selling books.
Is it bad to cater to people's tastes?
People want to love you, Monk. You should let them love all of you.
There's already so much buzz because of the movie deal.
Michael B. Jordan is circling.
We want to put him on the cover in one of those scarves, I guess you would call them, tied around his head.
A do-rag?
Do-rag, that's it. Do-rag and a tank top with the muscles showing.
Somebody call the fire department.
You know, the movie started badly. You know, I got, you know, a bad perception of what this movie was going to be about at the beginning. But where it's going, you know, based on the trailer alone, you know, I like it. You know, they are making fun of, you know, the pushing of this talk and all this foolishness. You know, all the stereotypical African American foolishness. You know, that they create, and that's what they want to be the image of the African American, when in reality the majority of African Americans are not that way, but they push it until the population of the African Americans that are that way keep increasing and expanding, so you know it becomes the norm. You know, so it's an interesting movie. They got me at the beginning. I was thinking like this is going to be a giant promotion of wokeness, but apparently it turns out, you know, it's just a critique of the way people are approaching all this, you know, being pro-black, especially white people and culture at large. And at the end of the day, everything they are doing is hurting African Americans in the long run, you know. So there's that. So that's interesting, you know, which ended up going in that direction. So that being said, you know, I would say that well, let me leave that to myself, you know. Make sure you check out Alfred.vip for more. And I would also say that it's important for us Christians to make movies, you know. If you're a church, you know, let the choir, you know, become a music record label, you know. Let the drama department become a movie studio, you know, start making YouTube shorts, you know, skits and all that, you know, and then eventually dramas, stage plays, and full-fledged movies, you know. Do that, keep advancing, make money, profits, and let that be funding the church, you know. Get people in the church that can program and who are artists to make video games, you know, comic books and all of that. So if the name of your church is, for example, Lighthouse Church, let there be, you know, from the choir, Lighthouse Records. Give members of the choir record deals individually, and let the choir also be its own music group, you know, that releases its own albums weekly or monthly or yearly, whatever, you know, or quarterly, whatever you choose, you know. Let the drama department be Lighthouse Movies, you know, all of that, and have like a Lighthouse corporation, a for-profit that houses all this, you know, because we need to do other things to preach the gospel. Gone are the days of just building a church and expecting people to come to the church and then winning those people to Christ. When those people leave, they are faced with ideologies and thought patterns from the world, from radio, from TV, from the internet, from everything else around them. Everybody has a message. Corporations now have a message. You can see that with corporations putting pride flags on their logos and repeating their logos during Pride Month. You know, you can see what that is. So every company, multi-million-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company have their own message, and their message is anti-Christ often. You know, often pro-wokeness and LGBT. So we as the church, we need to structure things differently to make a very good and giant impact, you know, to still be effective in this day and age. That being said, remember to check out Alfred.vip. God bless you.
Say this prayer audibly if you have not given your heart to Jesus Christ. Dear God, I believe in my heart that Jesus Christ the Son of God, came, died, and was raised from the dead to save me. I confess him, Lord, over my life and ask you to give me your Holy Spirit to live within me. I receive your Spirit by faith and thank you for I am now born again. In Jesus' name, amen. If you just prayed that prayer, congratulations, you're now a Christian. Go to alfred.vip and get resources that will help you with your work with God.